age, we're always told, go to school, get a good education, so you can get a good job. But for many people, it's not that easy. What happens if you're a highly gifted academic student who receives a severe brain injury, where you become dependent on so many people, including your teachers, who actually don't understand what you are going through? Well, for 17-year-old Barry and his mother Sharon, this is what they have to deal with every day. Barry was an intelligent, athletic 17-year-old who loved his basketball and his mum. He was a gifted student who was at the top of his class for both mathematics and English. But that all changed when he fell over and hit his head while playing basketball.
Sharon, how is Barry now compared to how he was before the injury?
Well, it's been a slow process, but I think we're on the right track at home now. We just have to get these things in place at school and move forward in the right direction, just to help him out. You know, he's lost all his confidence, and I don't think it's really good for his health and well-being at school. So,
Barry was an extremely gifted student and enjoyed school. Does he still have that same passion for his learning?
Look, Ron, not really. Barry was a bright and outgoing boy and had a great future ahead of him. Now he just comes home, drops his bag, and goes to his room. He doesn't really enjoy school anymore. He used to talk about it a lot, but now it's just nothing.
Has this negativity towards school affected his personal life?
Well, yes. Barry had a lot of friends, and he's lost the majority of them. We used to have a spag bowl night where a lot of them used to come around for dinner, and now it happens to be just the two of us, which I feel is very upsetting, and yeah, it's not real good.
What has the school done to help Barry?
Well, at the moment, the school hasn't done much to help Barry. In saying that, though, I believe the school and I will be having a meeting about putting in an action plan to help him recover from these issues and make sure his grades and his confidence is back up to scratch.
Mrs. Alice Johnson, the principal of Barry's High School, has dealt with acquired brain injuries in the past.
Mrs. Johnson, has Barry been improving since his accident, and does he have the support of teachers and peers?
Yeah, well, within the circumstances, we are doing everything we can to integrate Barry back into the classroom as smooth as possible. Unfortunately, we have had a few hiccups along the way. The classroom teacher and I have had revised these incidents, and we're working to get past this as best we can. So to do this, we have reflected upon the Universal Design for Learning. So this outlines measures to ensure potential barriers are removed that could prevent Barry from meeting important education goals within the classroom. These planning processes, such as an adaptive curriculum with multiple pathways within the classroom, will not only have huge benefits for Barry, but for the rest of the students too, because we are thinking about everyone in this situation. So within these provisions, we are confident Barry will become a competent learner yet again.
Cool. According to his mother Sharon, Barry has been the victim of discrimination from both his peers and teachers. What has the school done about these incidences?
Well, about 5 years ago, we did have a similar situation where one of our female students developed an ABI due to an incident when she was about 13. So we've had great outcome with the methods we implemented then, and a positive experience was had. But we were quick to put this structure into place when we did hear the terrible news about Barry. So we're ready to put this into place for his return to the classroom. However, the experiences hasn't been as well, positive experience haven't been seen. So we are aware that students were quite cautious of the situation, and the response just wasn't what we wanted. We did address the students before Barry came back into the classroom, but he's completely different, and I'm sure the students didn't even know what to expect, let alone how to react. So this worried Barry quite a lot, and this reflects on his behaviour. He's just so anxious. So the classroom teacher is working through these issues, and furthermore, we're working on the social aspect of Barry's experience. So it's important to him to feel part of the classroom again, and his friends to support him and embrace Barry and his diversities.
That program was for a 14-year-old female who had a less severe brain injury than Barry. Has Barry been provided with any support like teachers' aides or modified work?
Yes, well, it has come to our attention that this structure hasn't been as successful with Barry's case, but we are hopeful. Unfortunately, it is not in our means to provide the additional resources and support vital for the success of Barry's education. Like you said, we'd love to have a teacher aide, possibly even trained in acquired injuries, and also personal development courses for both teachers and students, and opportunities such as counselling for all those involved. These resources are extremely necessary, and to carry out all these plans, funding is really essential. So although provisions of funds are outlined within Australian policy, the school has not been provided with anything so far. Also within this policy, frameworks are made up for a positive, individualised learning experience in the least restrictive environment. So this would ideally focus on Barry's strengths and needs, rather than focus on these unfortunate circumstances. And as I said, the funding is really essential to carry this out.
Dr. Benjamin Archibald Winston III, a world leader in acquired brain injury, who has written over a dozen books about the subject, says that what has happened to Barry is irreversible and he needs a learning support plan in place for him. Dr. Winston, Barry's school is using a plan to assist him with his learning, which has been modified from a previous learning support plan to assist a 14-year-old girl who had a less severe brain injury than Barry. What would you advise the school to do to help Barry with his injury and learning?
Well, there's a lot of different cases we can talk about here, but in this case, Barry's brain is still developing because he's a young man. The things we could see happening at, in different stages of his life is that he could fall behind in the class, fall behind his peers, the students, and this is a massive negative in Barry's future because he doesn't have the right rehabilitation. At this stage, the school is in a frame of mind that Barry has a learning difficulty, but in actual fact, Barry now has a learning disability due to an irreversible extent of his brain injury. The school needs to put in an individual transition plan, ITP, which is shown behind me in the diagram here. This is an individual education program and it aims to prepare the student for post-school life. It is important for the student to be introduced to school slowly because a lot of things at once can overload his brain with so much information it will confuse and disrupt him from his schoolwork. As we know, the school have had a successful rating in helping students in the past, therefore not all acquired brain injuries are the same. They are different in many ways and studies show this in the nuance.
Miss Ebony Freelove, a social justice lawyer, says that Barry needs to have an appropriate plan in place to assist him with his learning because it is against the law and violates Barry's rights as a human being.
I think one of the most important things that needs to be recognised in this type of situation is understanding the difference between integration and inclusion in schools. I understand that the school have stood strongly behind the fact they have integrated Barry back into the school. However, inclusion is an entirely new level. The concept of inclusion in education is based on the notion that schools without absolute question must provide for the needs of all children in their school, be it a learning difficulty, learning disability, race or religion. The school have also stood strongly behind their individual policies for diverse students, claiming they are abiding by law, although policy is not an act of law, and by taking a closer look into Barry's needs, his rights and his fellow peers' rights have sadly been violated. Barry's family and doctors believe that his learning diversities have been neglected and perhaps thrown into the too hard basket. The DDA, the Disability Discrimination Act, legislation in Australia states that it is unlawful for an educational authority to discriminate against a student on the grounds of the student's disability, by denying the student access or limiting the student's access to any benefit provided by the educational authority. Barry's family feel that these extra lengths are not being taken in providing him the education he has the right to. What I believe needs to happen in Barry's case is a recognitive approach to his learning. This is where the learning content needs to be provided for all, because we need to be mindful of the 300 other plus students at the school. This will ensure a more smooth, equal transition in society for all involved.
So guys, how has Barry's new learning support plan come along?
Yeah, we've had a really successful outcome with the strategies put in place, and Barry's academic results have shown significant improvement. We're in correspondence with the doctor and the learning support team are working great together, and Barry's schooling life has become very enjoyable for all those involved.
Yes, exactly right. Barry's on the right track now with his schooling, and he's starting to come home and enjoy it a lot more. I can sit down and have a conversation about maths and English and geography, and the school is putting a great plan to help him in the future so become successful. Thanks a lot.